This is honestly probably one of the rudest people ever. So this Dunkin' Donuts worker takes customers' pay it forward money and keeps it as a tip, right? And according to this little photo that they did of themselves, or TikTok that they did of themselves, me, after a customer tried to pay for the person behind them in the drive through, but I took the money as a tip. Pretty bad. So, a Dunkin' worker has sparked a heated debate after claiming he pockets customers' well intentioned pay it forward money as a tip. TikTok user Samir shared a 7-second clip of himself working behind the Dunkin' counter, writing, "Me after a customer tried to pay for the person behind them in drive through, but I took the money as a tip." He captioned the clip, which has been viewed 767,000 times, "I wish I was joking," prompting a wave of various responses. Some slammed the TikToker for taking the money, labeling it as unethical as it was intended for someone else, with others agreeing that workers should be making more money. Did this once and they came back because they were together. One person wrote of their unsuccessful attempt. Let's see. Wait, I never thought of this, another muse. Nah, for real, why they paying the other car behind them when I'm the one making drinks, pointing out another worker? See, here's the thing. Like, the problem that I have with this is that this kind of shows that, like, people feel like they're entitled to people's money simply because they exist, which I view really negatively at, right? Like, if someone is doing something out of the kindness of their heart to pay for another customer behind them, then that money should go to them. It should not go to, to the person who's already getting paid to do a service for the customers, right? Because you also got to keep this in mind too. You could literally be fired for doing something like this. If this is caught by your boss, you could get fired right there on the spot, right? Because that goes to show further customers like, oh, we can't actually trust any of the employees that work here with our money. Like, do people not even like think about this? So some users issued a word of warning for anyone thinking of doing it. Sometime they are together and they are paying for their friend family behind them. Never know, someone pointed out. Others were horrified by the TikToker's confession. Yet another reason not to go to Dunkin', someone wrote. My grandma found out they was doing this and got the whole place fired, commented one user. And the post has reached out to Dunkin' for comment. Paying it forward in restaurants is when a customer gives the cashier money to cover the cost of the next person in line. Although the idea is thoughtful, workers in the past have come forward to say it can be difficult to keep track of orders and payments. The video also prompted a discussion on tipping, with some users pointing out many workers in the service industry rely on tipping, which is a controversial subject in some takeout establishments, particularly since the introduction of being asked to tip on iPads. In a rent viral TikTok, a user, an ex fast food worker called Allison, admitted she would get embarrassed asking for tips. So, as an ex fast food worker, we get embarrassed when the tablet asks you to tip. I worked frozen yogurt and had to ask for y'all to click it, and if I told you to ignore it, I would get yelled at, she wrote. The funniest thing is that about 90% of the time, people would tip, like, you put your own yogurt in a cup. I'm just the cash lady, she added. And this is a really good statement, right? Like, you put your own yogurt in a cup. I'm just a cash lady. For example, right? If you were to go and like get a haircut, you probably should tip the person if they did a good job cutting your hair because they're providing a service to you, right? Now, if there's like a situation where it's like a buffet place and you're literally serving yourself and having to get your own drink and having to get all of your own utensils, then there really shouldn't be really any tip, right? But if you have someone like constantly refilling your drink to the top, right? Then yeah, you should probably tip. It really all depends on the situation. But I really don't like this individual who's doing this. Like it's just dirty. It's very unethical, right? You get fired. You could cause a fist fight, right? Like the reality is, if you do this to someone, to the wrong person, and they find out that you did this, that you basically just took their money instead of paying it forward, that individual might be bipolar. That individual might be nuts, right? And they might come in and pick a fight with you, and it could go really bad really fast. Take, for example, people doing road rage, right? People have ended each other's lives in a road rage incident, okay? Do you think it is impossible for someone to get so pissed off at you that they're not going to attack you if you were to post something like this and they know that you did this specifically? Like they saw you, they gave you their money to do something specific like this, like a charity thing, and they know that you literally just screwed them over and screwed the person behind them over. Like it gets into like a really dark situation. Like you gotta be really careful anytime you are interacting with people in this fashion, right? Like you gotta be so careful, like so careful, right? Because in the fast food industry, there's already crazy people potentially getting into fights with the workers for literally no reason. So why would you give people another reason to potentially go crazy over? Like it's absolutely crazy. Like so let's see if there's any comments. There is. From the article, nah, for real, why are they paying the other car behind them when I'm the one making drinks, pointing at another worker? Please, worker, quit your job and go back to school. You won't be sorry. So he's stealing and bragging about it. Hey, that's TikTok. Please let me read a follow up story about this low life form thief getting fired. Hopefully, Dunkin' Donuts fires him ASAP. Boasting about stealing is incredibly stupid, aka TikTok. You don't think at your next job interview they will be looking at your social media presence? Wait, this guy is too dumb to ever get out of the minimum wage rut. I always wondered about this when it happens at Starbucks, so this guy is really a thief. What a garbage being this worker is. His parents must be so proud of the trash they raised. God paid it forward. He was born with. Okay, I don't know. Blah blah blah. I would never do a pay it forward again because of him. And here's the thing, right? I probably would never do a pay it forward because I just can't trust workers to actually do it. So, especially with stories like this. So, what I would do if I were to do something like a pay it forward situation would be to literally go up to the cash register, the cashier, or whatever, and be like, hey, how much does their bill cost? It's that much. I'm paying it right here, right now for them. Right? Or go to the grocery store and do it that way. Because the thing is, you can't really trust people. Like, anytime there is like a wall between you and your goal, you can't really trust what happens in between, right? Like, if there is like a blockage between you and this end point, you don't really ever know what happens in that in between part, right? But if you are there, right then and there, talking to the cashier, right? Yeah, you could literally just pay it right then and there, right? Or if you're like waiting in line and there's someone behind you, literally standing right behind you, you could be like, hey, what do you want? Or what are you getting, right? You getting like a number eight, number seven, whatever, in a large drink. Okay, like ring that up on my bill and I'm just going to pay it right now, right? You could do something like that. Pull like a shack, right? Like that's the way to do it. Pull a shack. Let's see. Yeah, it's just sad. It's sad to see something like this, right? Someone tries to do something good and then someone ends up bragging about basically stealing money. Whether this is a joke or not a joke, which they say that they're actually serious based off the article, it's just sad, right? It's like, what, this is what the culture is now? You gonna just brag about being a thief now? Like, really? Okay, man. That's a really sad way to live your life.